Welcome back everyone, here we are with another video diving into the lore of all the quests in the Night Elf starting zone of Shadowglen. Now just to clarify some things real quick before we begin, the story of all the quests we'll encounter here and in Teldrassil are from retail WoW, but also before the War of Thorns and the burning of Teldrassil. Obviously because there is no Teldrassil in current WoW, but retail is current WoW and current retail is canon, but it is what it is for now. We'll see if they do anything different for the Night Elves in System Lands, Shadowlands. But for some quick backstory before we get into the questing experience, you start your journey as a fledgling Night Elf in Shadowglen, the training grove for all Elven warriors who have been showing promise to protect their lands. Night Elves used to be blessed with immortality. This was before the Third War ended, and at the end of Warcraft 3 storyline, they returned their eternal life back to Mount Hyjal, which is the World Tree, after 10,000 years spent on Kalimdor. But since they're still Lune's favored children, they still retain natural long life, but do now show signs of aging as mortals do. Teldrassil is home of the capital city of Darnassus, and Malfear and Stormrage and the other druids attempted to convert Teldrassil into a new World Tree, but it didn't take to it. I guess they weren't spiking the water with vodka before they watered it to make them grow all big and strong like farmers do these days. But you've made your first character, and you take your first steps as a Night Elf when you're greeted by Elaine, who is glad to see that you have chosen the path of nature and protection for your home. He'll start you on your journey with a simple favor, the balance of nature, and ask you to slay 6 of the young night sabers around the grove. The rains are particularly heavy this year, causing the population to flourish, and their numbers must be brought down to preserve the balance of other wildlife in the area. Being the very first quest, you can take down the younglings fairly quickly and return back to Elaine, who is seen discussing with huntresses recruiting for their ranks. He pretty much alludes that you are promising, but you're not ready yet and still have much to learn. On that note, he will give you your second quest, the Felmoss Corruption. There has been a lingering corruption in the forest of Teldrassil, and he suspects that the local Grelkin have a substance called Felmoss that may be corrupting the land. I mean, it is called Felmoss, and I would assume the same thing if I was him. Before you leave on your next task, speak to Melithar Staghelm, who's across the path. He has another quest for you as well called Demonic Thieves. He is cursing the Grelkin as well, but is bothered because they have been sneaking into your hovel and raiding supplies. He knows that the Night Elf supplies have been stashed in their camps and wants you to retrieve them for him as you're collecting the Felmoss. With your 2 quests in hand, head back west to where the Grelkin camp lies. Grelkin aren't necessarily demonic in nature, but they are basically imps that the Warlock summoned in other reaches of the world, so they're just missing their fel power, and the Felmoss that you're collecting from them is what is gifting them their demonic power at the moment. It should also be noted that Melithar is a Staghelm, who are an extremely powerful druidic family in WoW, and I've always found it odd that if they are related, that Melithar is simply a salesman and a quest giver in Night Elf starting zone, but who knows, maybe he'll be the next leader of the Alliance someday. I'll vote for him all day long. He seems humble enough. I mean, his entire family is pretty relevant in WoW lore. But anyway, once you're done at the Grelkin camp, return to Melithar and Elaine, who is worried that the Felmoss is indeed the source of the corruption, so maybe, I don't know, we should start getting rid of this stuff around Teldrassil? Like, go to Ironforge and buy some good old-fashioned weed killer next time you stop there? It seems like it's pretty obvious to me, but I'm probably missing something here. Speak to Elaine again and receive the Priestess of the Moon quest, which will point you to Dentaria. She has offered to aid you in the calling of the spread of this corruption. Head northwest of the central tree to find her next to the lakes. When you spot her, she will be kneeling down in front of a male night elf. She asks you for your help. Her friend Urvine has been bitten by a spider in the Webwood Cave and needs an antidote to the poison that is running through his veins. Which technically shouldn't that be a venom, not a poison? I know there's a difference, but I'm a WoW nerd and not a real life terminology nerd, so someone correct me down in the comments below if there's a difference between venom and poison. Anyway, she needs you to collect 7 lilies from the moon petal flowers around the lakes, which are literally like 10 feet from her, where she could still keep an eye on her friend, which is odd, but I'm not one to judge to get free experience. Give her the lilies and have her stop bawling her eyes out. She is grateful and must stay behind to craft an antidote with the supplies, but she'll give you the quest, the Woodland Protector. Even though Dentaria is supposed to be helping you with the corruption of all of Teldrassil, she puts it off on you and wants you to track down the Dryad Tarandrella in the nearby cave. The Dryas were once common amongst these lands, but ever since Teldrassil's blessing they have disappeared, no longer needing such protection from them. When you locate Tarandrella, she'll explain that there is a grim business amiss in the lands. The webwood spiders in the cave she is watching over have been suffering more than any other creature from this foul plague, and are quickly becoming a danger to your people. You cannot allow more unprepared travelers such as Iveron to descend into the cave, so you need to slay 12 spiders to clear it out. Tarandrella will accompany you on this task, which will make it a breeze, especially since this girl is like ripped for a half deer person. Look at those abs. And she also has a full nice set of hair on her head. Yeah, that. Start descending into the cave and slaying every spider you see. Make your way to the back of the cave, and by the time you hit the back, you should have met your goal to kill 12 of them. Talk to your companion and she will have more insight, thinking that the corruption isn't just an external magic, it's being bred into the spiders themselves. If there is ever going to be a stop to it, you must hit it at its source. Githias is the brood mother of the spiders and must be brought down to stem the flow of fell magic in the webwood. Slaying Githias will get you another reward and another observation. There is a totem drop near the eggs during your fight, and irradiated fell magic. What's even more concerning is that it was crafted by Furbolgs. Furbolgs are a race who have long held esteem and friendship for the Night Elves. Tarandrella will thank you for your assistance with the matter, and she will continue to pursue what is happening around the webwood, but for now she sends you back to town to complete your training. Return to the Priestess of the Moon to find her antidote has worked. She gives you a glass vial and explains you are to draw out the waters in the local moonwell to learn of your recent history. Moonwells contain sacred waters that can heal mortal wounds, fell-stained powers, and hold memories of the past, as they are the same powerful waters as the Well of Eternity. Upon taking the waters from the northeast, a vision will appear explaining the events since the Third War, how the Legion was defeated, but at the cost of your immortality, Nordisil's suffering, basically all the stuff I covered in the beginning of the video, so you're all welcome, but here's a cutscene to prove that I'm right. Return to Dentaria one last time for your final task. She gives you the quest Precious Waters and thanks you for all the help that you've been to her personally and on your training. She wants you to take the filled vial to Tanarin Stormgrip, who will oversees everything that happens around the glade. Return where you started to ascend up the tree of Eldrassil. He will be at the very top awaiting your arrival. It appears that he truly has seen and heard all of the deeds that you have accomplished, and believes that you are ready to take your first steps outside of Shadowglen. You'll leave with the quest Passing Awareness, which sends you to the next town of Dolinar. You'll take with you a partially filled vessel, which you'll give to his contact named Korathras there. And then he also blesses you with the Spirit of the Wind, so you can gracefully levitate off the tree and fall to the ground safely, which is a nice little trick that you can do only after this quest. It gives a little bit of flair and fun when you're leaving the zone for the first time. And that will finish up all of the quests for Shadowglen, the Night Elf Zone. I'm also really excited to continue the next part of this, as the Night Elves have some of the most rich standing lore of any other race in my opinion. Just because they've been around for so long on Azeroth, and they have been around for 10,000 years, have partaken in multiple wars, defended the entire planet against the Legion 3 times now. They're just really interesting and have a lot of dynamic characters to them over the years, and they're just all around badass. I mean, come on, they're planting trees on top of trees. They're far more advanced than any kind of gnomish technology the Alliance has. But with that, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I upload weekly, always Mondays, sometimes Fridays. Please hit that subscribe button if you want weekly content. I appreciate all of you. Send a like if you liked, and leave a comment down below for any advice. And with that being said, I'll catch you all on the flip side.